Welcome to the first episode of the Some Loser podcast. My name is Claire, and today we're talking about the 2018 winter anime season. Well, first impressions. So, I guess this is the first episode. I should start off with what is the Some Loser podcast. It's pretty much a podcast where I just talk about comics, cartoons, manga, comics, cartoon, anime, same fucking thing. Sometimes movies, sometimes TV shows. Probably gonna also talk about music quite a bit, sometimes video games. Really just anything in the realm of entertainment that I just feel like talking about. I'll probably have some discussions, like, there's a bunch I want to have this month, but I feel like since the anime season just started and it's a pretty good one, and at least I watched a good amount of the shows. Not saying I'm keeping all of them, but I've seen a good amount, and I thought a good way to break the first episode ice is with a breakdown of the anime season. And the reason it's called Some Loser Podcast is because at first I wanted to call it the Eternal Otaku Podcast, but then I realized I'm probably gonna be talking about cartoons, well, not cartoons per se, but comics more than I am anime and manga. I'm gonna talk about characters, have discussions and rants about comics. I'm gonna review volumes and maybe whole graphic novels. I'm also going to do that for manga. I'm probably going to review animes and cartoons. But more so it's going to be about cartoons, I think. And I do want to review discographies too, and maybe video games. But probably video games less. I'll probably be talking about video games the least. Not that I like it the least. It's just that, I don't know, it's not the thing I'm the most interested in, I guess. But today's episode is about anime, and I don't want to call it the Eternal Otaku because that would imply I'm pretty much only talking about things from Japan, so like Japanese music, anime, manga, JRPGs and stuff. Just Japan in general, like the culture, which, after lying to myself for 4 or so years about being just a very avid anime fan, not a weeaboo, not an otaku, I think I have come to terms that I'm a filthy otaku and I should take the full plunge. So I'm probably gonna get worse over the year, and I'm gonna start getting back into learn Japanese because I was about 2 to 3 years ago. My first semester of university, I took a Japanese class, but I went to a university where they don't let you, it's retarded. They don't let you choose what classes you want for your first semester. They choose them for you. So, actually, no, I would take just my second semester because I didn't get just my first semester. But, no, I did get just my first semester. I actually did get this my first semester. I think you like go on a list of classes you want, and you put your major, and like, okay, we're just gonna pick some for you, and you get what you get. And I got Japanese 101, and I was taking it, and I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't feeling it. I was loving it. It was my favorite class I took at university, which I don't go anymore. I go to a community college for a different degree, which I'm actually liking a lot more than when I went to university, like 1,000 times more. But Japanese was really fun, but since I didn't get to pick my classes, I had a weird schedule where I would have about 4 to 5 hours in between my previous class and my Japanese class. And my schedule was already pretty weird, so those 2 days I would have a pretty weird schedule, and I wouldn't be able to go to work, and for a good month or so, I wasn't working, and I made no money, so I'm like, I'm sorry, Japanese, but you're an elective, I don't necessarily need you, but I do need money. So unfortunately, I had to drop Japanese class, and I wouldn't even be going to that university anymore. And I don't think my college even offers Japanese, so no point in really taking it. I did take Japanese history, and I got a 98 in that class. So at least on Japanese history, I'm pretty good. Bit rusty because there's a lot to remember. I mean, I'm barely good with American history, and that's where I live, so I think I actually got a better grade in my Japanese history college class than I did all my American history classes. That's a bit shocking, to say the least. But yeah, this isn't just gonna be a Japanese podcast or an otaku podcast, since I really love comics and cartoons, even though there's a probably, I would say, anime to cartoons is 4-1 or maybe 3-1. There are more anime than there are cartoons. Like, there's maybe 5 cartoons put out a year. I mean, don't quote me on this. I could be wrong, and then there's close to 40 and up anime per season, and there's 4 seasons a year, so there's more than 160 animes put out in a year, and that's substantially larger than cartoons, and this has been going on for a very long time. Cartoons aren't being pumped out like they used to be, and cartoons are a thing where it's not after one season they might come back. You're pretty much guaranteed a couple seasons, unless you are somehow have the worst ratings of all time. But anyway, I guess to wrap this all up, what this podcast is about, the Some Loser podcast, is I'm just going to talk about things I like in entertainment. Specifically, cartoons, anime, manga, comics, and probably music too, since I want to be a music producer / musician, so of course I'm going to talk about music too. But today, for a first episode, I'm going to start off with talking about the new anime. So for the most part, I don't think I watched any season 2s or up this season, except for Cardcaptor Sakura, and Fate Extra isn't out, and it's not technically a season 2, it's just another series in the Nasuverse, which, if you don't know what Fate is, I will probably have a whole episode or series of episodes focused on Fate, because Fate's a pretty goddamn good series. But going down the list, oh fuck, there's one I haven't watched yet, and I'm pretty sure there's about 2 or 3 episodes out already. Probably just 2, but fuck. I guess I dropped the ball on that. I think I like reading it better than I like what. I'll get to that in a while, but yeah, I'm probably not gonna be covering any season 2s except for Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card Saga, or the Clear Card Hen. I think Hen is saga in Japanese because I think part 3 of JoJo, besides being called Stardust Crusaders, is the Egypt Hen, so I think that's saga. But anyways, there's probably gonna be spoilers, and I've only really watched episode 1 of most of the animes, except for Devilman Crybaby. I have seen all of it, and I'll try my hardest not to spoil it. But it is a retelling of, I guess, a 46-year-old manga. It's been a while since the manga came out, and there's been a bunch of retellings of it. They just started releasing Devilman G, or Devilman Grimoire, in America, and that's like a modern retelling made by the same guy who made Devilman. Devilman Crybaby is directed by Yusa. So Crybaby is his take on the original Devilman, and then Devilman G is the original author's Nagai Go take on Devilman. And he also made a sequel called, I think it's called Devilman vs. Hades, and then there's a couple of spin-off series like Neo Devilman, Devil Lady, or Devil Woman, I think. I don't know. A lot of people say that one's skippable. I don't know too much about it, but I don't know. I mean, they kind of do a nod to it in the first episode of Grimoire, where Amon is like, if Miki summoned me, then I would look like this, and it's pretty much Devilman with boobs. So I guess that's a kind of nod, but anyway, let's get into this. So I'm going off the Mao chart or the My Anime list, and the first one is Violet Evergarden. And Violet Evergarden is a KyoAni series or Kyoto animation that has been hyped up for a while. Look at that. Ranked number 446. What is the top anime? It's probably fucked. Mao is, I guess, a couple seasons after an anime comes out. The rankings get kind of normal. But Mao, for the most part, is not a very good indicator of what a good anime is, or how good an anime is. And right now it has an 8.7 and it's ranked 46 on my anime list. And my opinions, it doesn't deserve it. I'd probably give it like a 6 or 7. I don't like to rate in numbers. I like to rate in letter grade because I feel like a B- and a C+ are two different things, but they're in the same realm. Like, okay, so Violet Evergarden, I would give a C-. I give it a C- because I'll give it a C. The animation is gorgeous, but I don't care for the story whatsoever. It's about this robot, or I don't know if she's like an android or something, but it's about this android / robot / cyborg named Violet Evergarden, and she used to be known as the Weapon in this war that ended, I think, a couple days before the series starts. And she gets a job at the CH Postal Service, and she wants to work in the auto memory dolls, which is a part of Postal Service where people write letters for people, because I guess in this country or world, not a lot of people know how to write. So the auto memory dolls listen to people and they write letters for them. I mean, maybe if I watched it more, it might get better. But from the first episode, it's pretty meh. Like, it's a very meh episode. And if there's one thing I hate more than anything, it's something being meh. Like, if it's really good, of course I'm gonna like it. If it's really bad, I'll either drop it, or it might be just so bad it's fun or funny, or so bad it's good, like The Room. But if something's meh, then it just wastes your time, and it wasted everyone's time that worked on it. I mean, I'm hoping the people who worked on it are very proud of themselves and think this is a very good show, and I hope that they get everything they deserve. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean the show gets all the praise that they were hoping it gets. But I just don't like meh shows or meh anything. I feel like I wasted my time. And I feel like everyone who likes it is deluded in some way. Or maybe I'm deluded and I'm not seeing what it is. But first off, it's a light novel. And there are very few good light novel adaptations. 2, it's modern KyoAni. And if you don't know what's so bad about modern KyoAni, Things they used to make that they were pretty known for. Clannad, Chuni, Suzumiya Haruhi, Hyoka, Kayokai no Kanata, K-On, Lucky Star, Nichijou, Kobayashi-san, and really, they started to get bad when I'd say 3 came out, and it came out in July of 2013, and that's where I'd say that KyoAni went into the dark ages, where instead of just having cute moe fun shows, they wanted to have very pretty looking, I don't know how to explain it, because not a lot of them are ecchi, but they're not very good. I mean, all their shows from 2013 and up are very pretty, but they're not good, with the one exception being Kobayashi-san Chino Maid Dragon. And I don't know, I mean, Kobayashi-san is made by what's his name? It's made by, why isn't saying who wrote Kobayashi-san? It's made by Cool Kyo Shinja. God, his name was on the tip of my fucking tongue, and I just couldn't get it out, I guess. But that felt like a return to form, and I like Cool Kyo Shinja. I read almost everything that's been at least scannulated or translated. I need to buy all the volumes of Kobayashi-san that's out in English. I don't know when the Kana spin-off manga is coming out here, or if it already has. I hope I don't understand what my husband's saying comes out soon, but I doubt it will. Ojojo is coming out soon, and I'm gonna buy all of that. I think it's only 2 volumes. But KyoAni used to make very light. Oh yeah, they made Inuyasha was made by Sunrise. I think they just collabed on it. They made Full Metal Panic. They Air. Pretty much all the key shows like Air and Clannad they are known for. Tamako Market, which I guess that's the last thing to come out before Free did. So that was the very last of the old KyoAni shows, and I'm not even a big fan of Tamako Market, so I guess for me is when that started. I wasn't a big fan of Hibike Euphonium. I'm not a big fan of Phantom World. I'm not, as I just said, I thought Violet Evergarden was pretty fucking eh. I guess they made that movie that came out 2 years ago, actually, because now it's 2018. I gotta remind myself of that. Koi no Katachi, which is about the guy who used to bully the deaf girl and now he feels bad about it. Haven't seen it because I am not a fan of anime movies where you're supposed to feel bad. I wanna watch a movie where I'll naturally feel bad, not just like, oh, this is a plot specifically because you feel bad. Like, I'm not a fan of that shit. No. So I went on a KyoAni rant when I was supposed to be talking about Violet Evergarden. Well, I guess I was in a way. So I guess Violet Evergarden, I would give a C. I dropped it. So let's go on to the next show. Citrus. I didn't even give this show the benefit of the doubt. The manga has been pretty big for a while. I think it's the big Yuri manga. It's listed as Shoujo AI, but everyone knows it's Yuri. Everyone knows. And from what I've seen, the clips and webims and gifs and discussions of Citrus is one of the girls being pinned down and being having the other girl force herself onto her. And A lot of people say that you just don't understand it. But when the only thing you know about Citrus is a girl is being sexually assaulted by another girl, it just doesn't seem right, and it never interested in me. I guess I like Moe Fluffy Yuri, and I love Shoujo AI. It's just I was not feeling Citrus, and I'm probably not gonna watch it. And the studio Passion, what else did they make? Rail Wars. Oh, that show was fucking awful. High School DxD, Hinako no. I watched like half of Hinako no. It wasn't that bad. It's just boring. They're a pretty new studio. They're just it's not very good. Oh, they're making a new season of High School DxD. Well, I'm not gonna watch it anyway because I don't fucking like High School DxD, but whatever. So yeah, Citrus, no, I'm not even giving it a chance. Next show is Darling in the Francks. So Darling in the Francks is a collaboration between A1 Pictures and Trigger. And earlier last year, Trigger announced that they have 3 new shows they're going to be working on after the Little Witch Academia. And they were called, where are they? The first one is Darling in the Francks, a collaboration between A1 Pictures and Trigger. And I was feeling a bit scared of it because I didn't have the highest hopes in A1 Pictures. And then I saw Fate Apocrypha, which has become my favorite Fate series. And the last couple episodes had subliminal action. The show had a very good action. And Darling in the Francks is an action / mecha sci-fi show. So, and it was very Evangelion. The first episode was very Evangelion. A lot of people were saying it was pretty Gurren Lagann, which I didn't see that in the slightest. I mean, Trigger is an offshoot of Gainax who made Gurren Lagann, so I guess that's where people are getting it. And personally, here's an unpopular opinion. I think Gurren Lagann's an okay show. The first half is super boring and meh. And then when it gets a time skip, it gets good. But it's not like, it just hypes itself up. It's not like Kill la Kill where it's good off the start and when it gets better. I mean, unpopular opinion. I probably lost a couple people right there. But yeah, that's the first collaboration show they announced. And the second one is SSSS Gridmon, which is a collaboration between Trigger and Subaruya Productions. Which, what else did they do? Because that's a name I'm not really familiar with. They've done a lot of tonkatsu shows, mostly Ultraman. Yeah, they've done a bunch of Ultraman. Another series I'm not very familiar with, Kyoryu. They did Submarine Super 99, and they did both seasons of Kaiju Girls, which I watched season 1, and I don't know too much about Ultraman. So, Kaiju Girls was just a pretty cute show, but I was lost in me for the most part. And it does not make me want to watch season 2, which came out last week. So, I'm not going to be talking about that. But SS Gridman is an adaptation of a tonkatsu. Wait. I keep saying tonkatsu. That's... fuck. What am I thinking of? It's not tonkatsu. It's not tonkatsu. It's Tokatsu? No. Tokusatsu. Wait. Yeah, tokusatsu. I was thinking of a different word. Tonkatsu is I think it's I think it's a type of beef or something in Japan. There was an anime a couple of seasons ago, a short anime called Tonkatsu DJ Agataro, which was about this kid who worked at his family's tonkatsu shop, but he wanted to be a DJ, and he mixed his skills he knew of making tonkatsu with DJing. It was a really good show, but Tokatsu or Tokusatsu, God. I can usually say these words pretty good when I'm not recording myself, and I record myself and I look like I just looked up the word, but Tokatsu, that's the word I was looking for. That's the type of show is like Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Power Rangers. That's what kind of show Tokatsu shows are. And Gridman is a Tokatsu show from the 1970s. And I guess this is Trigger reviving them. And it's probably going to get a revival like Devilman has got in this year and last year. And then their next show is Promar, which is just a Trigger show. And I'm guessing it's going to be their next Kill la Kill. But anyway, back to Darling in the Franxx. Like I said, at first I wasn't too I was a bit weary of Darling in the Franxx because it was A1 Pictures, but after Fate Apocrypha came out, I felt reassured that Darling in the Franxx was going to be good and Trigger is going to save anime again. And they have. Trigger has saved anime. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Episode 1 is hard to describe, so okay, I want to describe it so you can see why I'm going to recommend it, but it's kind of hard. I've only seen it once. I should probably watch it again, honestly, but I've only seen the first episode once, and it's hard to describe. A lot goes on. I think I was just mostly just happy that Trigger's back. It's very Evangelion-esque. Except instead of Shinji being a pussy about getting in a robot, it doesn't seem like he needs much persuasion at this point. At first, okay, so the main character's name is Hiro, and why was he? Okay, so in the beginning of the series, he says in the beginning of the episode, he says he's gonna leave because he's a failure. And I think when he was doing a test with his current partner, because for these to pilot these robots called the Francks, you need a male and female partner, and they have to be in unison for them to really excel. And he used to be known as a prodigy, but I guess somehow he fell behind, and now he's just so unsure of himself, he has deemed himself useless. But when he meets a girl called Code 02, who has these weird horns, she takes a liking to him, and she is known as, I think she was known as the pilot killer, because all the pilots who usually team up with her die within the first 3 missions or 3 times they pilot the Francks. So Hiro pilots with her after they make a connection, and then they kill this giant monster called a Klaxor, which it sounds like some bad name that I would try to make up if I was writing a fantasy series or something, but it's fucking Trigger. I'm not gonna complain. Trigger can do no wrong, but it seems like it's gonna be a very over-the-top mecha series that's gonna be pretty dramatic, and it's gonna have romance in there, and I'm excited for it. It's pretty early to say it's gonna be my anime of the season, but it's Trigger, so it's my anime of the season. So the next show is Death March Kara Hajimaru Isekai, and I'm not even giving it a chance because if it's isekai or a Japanese fantasy show that I'm not already hyped for, I'm probably gonna hate it. Isekai is the latest trend in Japan. I don't want to say it's starting with Sword Art Online because Hack did it first, but Sword Art Online is what kicked it off, and it's the fantasy genre where the main character is sent to a fantasy world and they are incredibly strong and they're a prodigy and they're the chosen one. It's a self-fulfillment slash kind of ego stroking show where you're supposed to, what's the term? It's self-fulfillment's close. It's self-insert. It's self-insert genre, and I'm not particularly a big fan of it. It's I don't. There are a couple every season. They're starting to wind down now. I think there's there's a couple this season as well. This one's just extremely blatant about it. Here, let me read you the description on Mao. 29-year-old programmer Suzuki finds himself transported into fantasy RPG. Within the game, he is a 15-year-old named Sato. At first, he thinks he's dreaming, but his experiences seem very real due to a powerful ability he possesses with limited use. He ends up wiping out an army of lizard men, becomes a high-level adventurer. So already, he gets transported to the world, and he has this OP broken power where he can just wipe out whole armies. And of course, there's a bunch of girls on the posters, so they're all going to want to be with him. And I'm guessing the blonde one, who is the one on the very front, is going to be his love interest, even though she probably doesn't deserve to win the Suzuki Bowl, but whatever. So yeah, I dropped it. I'm not even giving it a chance, which is sad because it's Silver Link, and I usually love Silver Link, but they let me down. But not too bad, because they're also working on Yuru Camp this season, and one other show. What was the other show? What is it? Whatever. So next show is Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san. And Takagi-san is a manga I've been keeping up with for a good year now. It's about these two middle schoolers, Nishikata, and the girl who sits right next to him, Takagi-san. And Takagi-san likes to tease Nishikata, and she's very smug, and he just never seems to be able to pull one over on her. So it's a romance slice of life comedy series about this guy who keeps trying to embarrass or win a game against his neighbor Takagi-san. And she's doing it because she likes him, but she's not going to tell him because he's very dense. And he's so absorbed into winning these games that he doesn't really notice, or I guess he wants to accept that this girl likes him, even though he likes her too. But of course, she's a girl. It's middle school. I don't like girls. Girls are icky, but very good series. It's everything I wanted it to be. It's really cute. It melts your heart. There's a spin-off of it, which I don't remember the spin-off's name, but it's about this group of 30 girls in their class, and they put it in there, and warms my heart up. It does. But yeah, it's everything I want it to be. I'm gonna give it an A. I feel like it could have been a short series, and I would have given it an S ranking, or I guess a 10, because it feels at times it goes on for a bit longer. It's definitely better in manga format, but I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait, and I think I know how they're going to end it. And if you've read the manga, and you're at least current on it, you know what chapter I'm talking about. And that's the one they're going to end it on. And if they do, I will probably move it up to an S, because That would be a great ending for the anime, and I wouldn't even ask for a season 2. So, let's move on next show. Fate Extras Last Encore, which hasn't come out yet. It doesn't come out till the 28th. I thought it was supposed to come out the 27th, but I guess it's the 28th, which is 2 Sundays from now. But it's a Fate show by Shaft, and the main saber is not King Arthur, it's Nero, which Nero is Bay, Shaft is Bay, and as long as it's a saber that isn't King Arthur, they are always Bay. So it's already an S tier show. So let's move on to next show. Koiwa Amagari no Uni. This is a show me and my friends called Grandpa Fucker, because it's about a high school girl who used to be in a track and field club, but due to injury, she hasn't been able to run as fast as she can, so she started working at this family restaurant, and she has found herself to fall in love with her manager, who is a divorced 45-year-old man with a son, and I think he kind of realizes that she might like him, but I've only seen the first episode, so I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if they start to form a relationship over the time. But it's pretty cute. The girl kind of reminds me of Komi-san, which is a manga I hope soon gets an anime. It's also a very cute romance manga. It's very 90s looking. The show has a very 90s looking appeal to it. It's by Wit Studio. And if you don't know Wit Studio, they are most prominently known for making Attack on Titan, or at least the anime. And I guess other things they're known for is Owari no Seraph. They'd made The Ancient Magus's Bride, which I need to catch up on. They made season... Is it just season 1? But they made Hozuki no Retsu. They made Rolling Girls. They made Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, which is Attack on Titan, but good. Oh yeah, here's another unpopular opinion that's become popular. Attack on Titan is fucking bad. It's bad. Why don't I have a Owari no Seraph and dropped? You got fucking dropped too, buddy. Attack on Titan's a bad show. It had a very good premise, and then Wit Studio is like, okay, well, since we made Attack on Titan, let's make our own version of it. So they made Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, which starts out the same, except instead of Titans, it's these zombies with these steel cages around their hearts. And it's really good. The villain wasn't the best villain. There's a season 2 confirmed, but at least they had a villain, unlike Attack on Titan, who doesn't... I think they have a distinct villain now, but I read the first 50 chapters, and besides Monkey Troubles, there was no fucking distinct villain, someone you could really call villain, just these asshole, like, rogue Titans and Monkey Troubles, and probably the dad is the fucking villain, because it seems that he has a way to stop the Titans in his fucking shed, and no one can get to the shed, yada yada yada. This isn't about fucking Attack on Titans. This is about Koiwa Amagari. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but fucking whatever. I was honestly just ready to watch this and make fun of it and call it the Grandpa Fucker anime, but I actually enjoyed it a lot, and I think I'm gonna continue it, so I would give this a B. It's not the best, but it's pretty. The characters are kind of weird right now, besides Akira and her manager. I don't really care for anyone else at this point, but only time can tell. I wasn't too crazy on Blend S the first couple episodes, but after going through the whole entire show, I'm actually kind of missing it. I hope it gets a second season. But Yeah, I would also recommend Koiwa Amagari, or Grandpa Fucker. Call it what you want. Next show is Papa Team Epic, or Papu Te PPQ, whichever one you want to go with. I say Pop Team Epic because I sometimes forget how to pronounce it in Japanese, but it's funner to say in Japanese. Pop Team Epic is a 4-coma comedy manga, and it's also a parody manga since most of the comedy comes from references or meta humor. And it took off in Japan and kind of here. When the first episode came out, it was very... I would say it's controversial because a lot of people went in not knowing what it was, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Lol, so random. Look, a Skyrim parody. Oh, there's a Pokemon parody. Which in the second episode, when they have a sketch about getting out your phone and screenshotting the fortunes, because Papuko gets a giant scroll with a bunch of random fortunes that just keep going by really fast. You're supposed to take a picture of one, and whichever one you get is your fortune. One of them says, yeah, I bet you knew the fucking Skyrim reference. It's not that exactly, but pretty much says, yeah, I bet you did get the shitty Skyrim reference. So it's like they know that their fan base is cancer. And that Skyrim is cancer, but for a show that relies on obscure to well-known references, I can't really fault him for putting in a Skyrim parody. But if you just want a really weird comedy 4-coma manga that is probably the most 4-coma manga anime I have ever seen, then I would definitely recommend Pop Team Epic. It's way too overly produced, and because of that, they split the show into two, where one version is either a male or female voices, and then second version is the other gender's voices with varying changes to the animation and dialogue. Very good anime. Unfortunately, I think that after a couple seasons, it's going to fall into the realm of Plastic Nissan, where it's going to be forgotten kind of, and not too highly recommended, but if you know what it is, you have a fond appreciation for it. And I hope it does well. I mean, whether it does well or not, B-Cube does not really give a fuck, and I feel like Kamikaze Duga doesn't give a fuck either, but I think it's one of the highest rated anime of the season, at least so far. So here's to you, Pop Team Epic. So next is Beatless, and honestly, it just kind of looked like Plastic Memories, which I didn't give a fuck about, so I don't give a fuck about this. Next is Kokaku, which is a mystery psychological drama, and I just didn't get around to watching it. And with so much slice of life this season and comfy action shows, I don't really care for a mystery psychological drama, so unfortunately I didn't watch that. Grand Crest Senki is a Japanese fantasy show, so I instantly dropped it. I meant to make sure that to make it seem okay, so far it makes it seem like I don't watch any Japanese fantasy animes or read any Japanese fantasy mangas, which is false. I read all Berserk. I've even watched the new 2 Berserk seasons, which I like both of them. Fuck you, I liked it. I love Shingeki no Bahamut. There's Maria the Virgin Witch was my anime of the year for 2015 or 2016. Whichever year it came out, it was my anime of the year for that year. And so it's not like I hate Japanese fantasy series, just a majority of them are very generic, and I don't... And when you have 40 plus shows come out a season, and you're trying to keep up with them, because my problem is I'm not able to keep up with every show, so I'll put them on my backlog. So then I get a point where right now I'm trying to keep up with these shows and watch them with my friends on Saturdays, and then on the weekdays I go for my backlog, and I don't want to have a backlog, so I'm trying to make sure I watch all the shows I want to watch so I don't have to come back and watch them. Plus, if I watch them all now, I can stay up with the discussions on my various chans and boards and wherever the fuck I'm talking about anime. Mostly 4chan because I don't have that many friends on Facebook and Twitter that are keeping up with this season. Next is Cardcaptor Sakura, which I watched the first couple episodes of the anime, and this was a couple seasons ago, and then me and my friends stopped marathoning it weekly, which I think at the rate we were going, we wouldn't have been able to finish it anyways by the time this came out. So I ended up buying the 4 omnibuses that were recently released of the original series, and I just binged them all in about a week. So I was able to catch up for the clear card anime, and wow, even though I just binged all the manga about a week ago, it feels like I'm watching a daughter grow up. My daughter. But anyways, it's refreshing. I bet it's more refreshing for the people who watched Cardcaptor Sakura almost 20 years ago, and now 20 years later is the continuation. So I bet that's really good. If you don't really know about Cardcaptor Sakura, they give you a brief recap in the beginning, and even then, me and my friend Nick watched with our other friend Nick, and we had to explain a couple things to him, but not that much. So honestly, if you've never seen Cardcaptor Sakura, you could probably go into this blind and still understand the majority of it, but you would get a lot more if you went into it watching or have read the other series or the original series. So yeah, I loved it, and I'm glad it's getting 2 cores. Madhouse is fucking killing it, and I can't wait for the rest of it. So next is Takaki Kocchi Season 2, and again, I had to drop it. I meant the manga, I've read the manga, and it's pretty comfy. I enjoy the manga. I did not like Season 1 of the anime because it felt pretty boring, and I felt like it couldn't work in a season, in a 24-minute length episode. But then they said for Season 2, they were going to make it short, so it's 12 minutes. And even then, it just feels a bit too long. I don't know. It's a 4-koma manga, or it's kind of a 4-koma manga, and it just doesn't, I feel like this is one of those shows that just doesn't work and translate to anime, which I feel like a lot of people feel that way, or the Kocchi Kocchi hype has died, because when Season 1 came out, all I saw for fucking weeks, even months, was just Hotaru pictures and just the Kocchi Kocchi spam. Now Season 2 comes out, and I don't see a goddamn thing. So I guess the Takaki Kocchi hype has died or whatever, but I'll continue to read the manga, but I don't think I'm going to watch the anime. So on to the next show is Yuru Camp, or Yuru Camp Delta, because they're just a little triangle. Yeah, if not for Darling in the Francks, this would be my instant anime of the season, and it might actually still end up with it. Darling in the Francks and Yuru Camp are going to have to compete for it, because this is one of the comfiest mangas I have read in a while. And the anime captures the comfiness perfectly, and it's everything I wanted. And this was a show I was probably the most hyped about this season, and I got exactly what I asked for. So yeah, it's fucking great. Yuru Camp is a show about this girl, Nadeshiko, who is a high school student who just moved to Yamanashi, and she wanted to go see Mount Fuji, which was on the 1,000 yen bill, and she bikes all the way there, and she accidentally, the weather gets bad, so she decides she has to go back, but she ends up falling asleep and she forgot her phone at home, so she's kind of stuck. But then she runs into Rin, who goes to the same high school as her, and Rin shows her the wonders of camping, and Nadashiko, or Nadashiko, however you say it, she sees the wonders of camping, and she decides to join the outdoor activities club at her school. Not the intense one, the laid back one. And it's just a comfy show about camping. Coming from someone who's not an outdoorsy person, this really makes me want to go camping, which made my girlfriend happy because she's very into camping. Has been trying to get me to go camping. I've been very reluctant to go. But this show makes me want to go camping. It looks like it's a lot of fun, especially with more than one person, even though I feel like just doing it by yourself, according to the show, looks very comfy if you have the right gear. The mangaka is a big camping nut, so he or she, everywhere it's in the manga, is based off a real place. They put in a bunch of camping tips and tricks and everything, and I think one thing that I like, that makes me like anime and manga more than comics and cartoons, is slice of life is a very niche genre, which isn't really too prominent here. I mean, there's a couple slice of life shows, but not really. And I feel like people say, oh, it's in SpongeBob or anything like Disney Cartoon Network slice of life. No. I'll go into slice of life in our episode and what exactly makes something slice of life, but it's not really something here, and when it is here, it's not a very well appreciated genre, unlike in Japan where it's a very prominent and powerful tour de force of a genre, and it's one of the best slice of lives that has come out in a while. It's currently one of my favorites. The anime is great. C Station killed it with the help of Silverlink and Production IG. And Darling the Francks is going to have to work hard because this is definitely an anime of the season. Next show is Sora Yorimo, or Antarctic Girls, which is another anime by Madhouse about this group of girls who want to go to Antarctica as a part of the civilian research team. And honestly, it's really good. I mean, I thought it was going to be pretty good because the instant I read the description, it just sounded comfy and fun. It's a slice of life adventure show, even though the adventure hasn't really begun yet, but I can see where it's going, and one of my friends, Nick, thinks it's gonna have a Stand By Me ending, which I kind of hope it does, but if you just want to watch a show about girls going to the Antarctic to do research and stuff, and all the cute and quirky antics of high school girls hanging out with each other, then this is the show for you. The next show I have is the Ito Junji collection, which is a show I was talking about earlier that I haven't watched yet, that I like the manga better. I keep trying to get myself to watch it, but I can't bring myself to watch it. It's not that I don't want to. I like Junji Ito. It's just, I don't know. I don't have the drive to watch it, I guess. And could be due to it was extremely hyped up, and now that it's out, absolutely no one is talking about it. And I assume it's because it wasn't what people were hoping it to be. And Junji Ito has an art style and form of storytelling that I think won't translate well to an animated or moving medium. But eventually I will check it out, so I don't really have anything to say about the Junji Ito collection. And it's not for good or bad reasons, just I just have not got around to it. Now, up next is just a huge round of shows I have dropped or just not got into, so instead of giving reasons as to why I've dropped all these shows, I'm probably just going to say drop. And then if there's a show I liked, I'll actually talk about that. Or I might give a short discussion of, or summary of why I dropped these shows. But anyway, let's get started. Hagata Tonkotsu Ramens. I dropped just because it didn't seem interesting. Killing Bites. It looks like some shitty horror ecchi fighting game. Dropped. Ryuo no Oshigoto. It's a slice of life about shogi. I don't give a fuck about shogi, and me and my friends are able to predict the first half of the episode while it was happening, so no, dropped. Toji no Miko. It's a generic action fantasy Japanese show. Gakuen Babysitters. It's one of those shoujo shows about babysitting, and I don't really like the art style. I don't fucking like babies in the slightest, and these babies are very smart alecky. Not in a Rugrats sort of way either. So, yeah, I dropped. Next is Mitsubishi Colors, which is another show I was very hyped for, and it's also by Silverlink, which has quickly become one of my favorite studios, and it's everything I hoped it for. Mitsubishi Colors is about the colors. It's not really a club. I guess it's a group of these free girls who hang out together and say that they're protecting the peace of their city, even though there's nothing to protect it from. But when you're a little kid, you can make up things to protect it from. And it's a really sweet and cute and funny series. I was a bit worried that when I showed it to my friends, they wouldn't understand why I was really into it, but I quickly won them over with it. And it seems that the anime is winning over a lot of people and is doing better than I expected it to. So, good for you, Mitsubishi Colors. Ramen Daisuke Koizumi-san. It's about a cold exterior girl who's really into ramen, and I'm just not into that trope. Slow start. It just seemed like a very bleh slice of life series, and with slice of life being a prominent genre, if you're a pretty bleh series, there's no point in watching you. Machin. It just did not look interesting in the slightest. Hakume to Mikicho, or Mikochi. Hakume to Mikochi. There we go. This is a slice of life fantasy series that I did not drop, actually. Basically, it's about these tiny girls, Hakume and Mikochi, which they're not like little girls, because in the first episode, they're getting drunk at a bar, so they are adults in whatever the world they're living in, and this just seems like something that you would see in like a picture book for children, except it has a kind of adult spin to it. I don't know. It's a very comfy show. I can see people not liking it and calling it boring, but it's very comfy. I loved it. If you're into fantastical storybook worlds, I would say get on this. Takunomi is a show about a 20-year-old who moves to Tokyo, and she decides to live in a woman-only share house with 3 other women, and they bond by drinking different types of alcohol, and it's a really fun series. It's pretty cute. It's a nice slice of life. I'm learning more about alcohol and stuff, and I turned 21 in a month, so probably about halfway through the show, I can actually start drinking with all the girls, so that's another layer of sadness to add to my life. So next show is Basilisk. Drop because it's, I guess, an alternate, or it's a sequel to another series, but it's a historical drama show, and I'm not a big fan of historical Japanese shows. And most of them are about samurai and how samurai are the fucking coolest people ever, when in reality they weren't, and they were quite a fucking nuisance. And probably the best historical samurai show is Onihei, which is an anime adaptation of an old live action series called Onihei, which is about a police chief during the Rogue Samurai era, and it's fucking amazing. It's in rotoscope. I would go recommend that. I do not recommend Basilisk. Next is Sanrio Danshi. I just didn't care. Mira no Kai Kata. I don't care. Nanatsu no Biroku. I don't care. 25 Sai no Joshikoshi. I don't even care if I'm pronouncing it right. This is made by, I don't know if this is a new studio or something. Yeah, it is a new studio. Oh, yeah, it is a new studio, I guess. No, it's an old studio because they have 3 shows, one from 2007, one from 2012, and one from this year. So they have like quite a big gap in between shows, but none of the shows are really well known, and I don't know, the show just did not look good in the slightest. Everything else I kind of dropped. So that's all the TV shows, and now I guess we can move on to ONIAs, which the only one I've seen so far, well, the only one that's out currently is Devilman Crybaby. So I can't really talk about the rest of them, but Devilman Crybaby was amazing. I was not the most well versed in Devilman, but I kind of knew what happened in the original series. I had like a summary's knowledge of it. And Crybaby was very experimental, very pretty looking. It was rotoscope, so of course I loved it. It was very stylistic, and I can see why it's a staple in the horror genre and why it's inspired countless other series, and why a lot of series I like wouldn't be here without it, like Parasite. I can see a humongous inspiration on Parasite from Devilman. Just replace devils with the parasites, and you have almost the exact same show. Anyways, Devilman Crybaby was very good. It's about Akira Fudo, who was told by his best friend Ryu that demons have started to come into this world, and they're killing off humans, and this upsets Akira. So Ryu sacrifices Akira to get possessed by the demon Amon, who is one of the most powerful demons in history. Which, something I found funny about the show is that the Devilman series from the 70s exists. So people will see demons on TV or hero demons, and they're like, oh, it looks like the one from the TV series. And I'm like, they never explain how the series and the actual demons coincide. I guess it's just a cool little thing they wanted to throw in there, just to have a reference or to fuck with people, but confused me quite a bit. But anyways, Crybaby is really good. It's definitely my top 3 for this season. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I will say that if you are not a fan of gratuitous amounts of sex and extreme violence, I would definitely steer clear, because this show was, in the 70s, it was known for its sex and violence and dark themes and how society and humanity are the real demons. And Netflix is like, yeah, go crazy. And Yusa's like, fucking okay. And he goes ballistic with it, and it's fantastic. It's very similar to Devilman G. It's actually, I think, a bit more extreme to Devilman G, which was supposed to be the original author's like ultra violent take on the original, which is already pretty violent for the times. But very good tragedy story, extremely good horror story, and action series. I would definitely recommend it. That's really it. I haven't watched any of the specials or OVAs or movies yet. I know the Chunibyo movie just came out a couple days ago, well, about a week ago. But I don't think it's translated yet, so I can't really talk about it. But yeah, that seems to be it for the Winter 2018 series. So I hope you go check out all the shows I recommended or said were good, and maybe if the ones I said weren't good sounded interesting to you, go check them out. But so far this is a pretty good series. Not season. It's better than I think the past couple seasons have been. I'm going back for Mao to see like what season was about as good as this, and I would say summer of 2017 comes close, but not really. Yeah, this is the best season in a while. Maybe winter 2017. Yeah, I guess winter 2017 was the closest to this season in terms of quality. You had Onihei, you had Kimono Friends, you had Aka 13, Kobayashi-san, Little Witch Academia, and Demi-chan, Yojo Senki. What else did you have? Yeah, that's really it, which doesn't seem like a lot, but those were all very, very, like, good shows. You also had Kizumonogatari 3, you had, Genocidal Organ, very good season, and this was probably the closest to it. So, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. It might have been better in video format, but I didn't want to edit an hour of video or an hour of dialogue and stuff and add video to it, especially where I knew I was going to go on rants, so I didn't even try to script this. I'm like, fuck it. No point in scripting. I'm going to go off tangent, and I don't know how long it's going to be, but I think this is a pretty good length for the first episode. So yeah, I'm Claire. If you liked this episode, then like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, share us around, tell your friends about us, I guess. Comment, you know the drill. So yeah, see ya, I guess.